Hello and welcome to the Underpaid Gamers Podcast. My name is Tony. I am with my friend and colleague Justin.
Hey.
There he is. Look. Listen.
Look, listen, watch.
It's raining outside.
It is.
So I didn't bring in the deck chairs that we normally use.
So we got
the squeakers today.
I'm trying to make it squeak.
But with the squeakers, we also have some video game news.
Yeah, we do.
Some poke news. We're talking about Pokemon a little bit.
Yeah. Poke news?
Poke news.
There it is.
Overwatch. One of my favorite topics to talk about, No Man's Sky.
Yeah, but there's some good stuff in that happening.
I have more experience with Watch Dogs 2, so we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
And some surprises along the way.
There's going to be some good stuff. Let's just get into it. We're back.
Back in action.
What's up?
Nothing? Want to talk about some video games?
I guess.
We can also talk about Star Wars, Justin.
Yay! That's what I wanted to talk about.
So, first thing, let's do small things first.
Okay.
There's the first ever Esports Industry Awards.
Ooh, how exciting.
I
saw
didn't
some
watch
tweets.
It. There's also the Game Awards going on. Don't get that confused.
Yep.
But Scumpy from Optic Gaming, Call of Duty team, won Best Console Player.
There you go.
So exciting. That's really all the news I have on that one. Like I said, it's a small one.
It was a small
little guy.
Little 20-second.
Symmetra is getting her kit reworked in Overwatch. Symmetra is the girl with the laser turrets and the teleporter.
Yeah.
And
apparently there's like a game-breaking shield thing with Symmetra right now. I don't know if it's actually game-breaking, but there's a thing you can do with it. So
they changed her kit now to where you used to be able to like look at somebody and give them like 25 shields on their character. Now she just has this big open shield that's like Reinhardt's shield that she shoots out, but it moves forward instead of giving individual shields. Okay. So that's interesting. Haven't played with that yet. She also, her standard weapon, her regular fire has been, it's that laser, that little... Yeah. It's like a hose, a garden hose. Yeah. That shoots laser beams.
It just like follows them.
Yeah. That's been extended, the range has by like 2 meters. Oh. This is all from memory, so that could be wrong. What else? Other than the big thing, she now is the first character in Overwatch to have a choice between 2 different ultimates. Oh. So the first ultimate is still there, the teleporter. But developers and games people have decided that the teleporter really isn't any good except for the first, if you're defending the first place. Yeah. You kind of lose. Because when you're first defending, the first place, the defenders spawn much farther away than the attackers. Yeah. That's why not dying so important to a defender. But the closer it gets to the second point, the defenders spawn that much closer. Right. Which is why dying's so much more important for the attacking squad. But because the defenders, she's kind of a defensive character, because the defenders spawn so much closer, the teleporter doesn't matter. So instead, they now have the option of having a teleporter that, it's not a teleporter, it looks exactly like a teleporter, for the most part. This sits on the ground, same as that, and it gives everybody within a certain radius, which is like 50 meters, which is like the whole map, almost. They give them like 75 shields, I think. Oh. Which is a lot.
That is good.
Specifically, if you look at Tracer, who only has 100, or she has 200 health, I think, standard. Maybe 150. But you almost double her health. Yeah. When you do that. So that's a powerful ultimate. For sure. So major reworks are the shield that moves forward and then the ult. The new ult, which is interesting. Yeah. As we talked about in previous episodes, they added the new arcade mode feature, which I asked you to play with me last week, and you snuffed me. So I'm not going to ask again. Dang it. They have what me and my good buddy the Red Heron have been doing is a 3v3 battle. So it's 3v3 heroes are locked in at the very start of the battle, but you can change them between rounds. It's whoever gets to 3 wins first. So it's first 2-3, whoever wins then wins the whole match. And then if you win, every time you win 3 games, you get a loot box. To a total of 3 loot boxes for the whole week. So we always get on Monday, which is today, and then we play. So if you want to play with us, Justin.
Dude, you know I have stuff every Monday night.
You have this?
No, it's something else after this.
I don't know what you have.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we're starting at 8 p.m.
Okay.
So I don't know how that
conveniently fits the exact time that our other thing starts.
Well, I plan that because I really don't want to play with you.
I know you don't. You hate me.
Anyway, it's a lot of fun. Not playing with you is a lot of fun. The Walking Dead. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
I haven't watched The Walking Dead since like 3 episodes into season 4. They're now currently into season... Is it 6 or 7?
I think it's 6. Or 7.
Walking Dead has the lowest rating since 2013, which was their 3rd season. Now, I looked at a graph, and the very first season, it had fluctuating ratings, and it's been going up and up and up since then as an average, but now it's been dropped off considerably. However, it's like 50% from the first episode to where we are now.
Yeah, well, it makes sense with what's been going on.
We'll talk about it. But it still needs to be said that each episode garners like 11 million people watching it.
Yeah.
So it's still like the highest watched television show in prime time for people between like ages 18 and 34 or something like that.
Right.
So keep that in mind. However, I would love to see The Walking Dead just be done. I hate seeing people obsessed with this show. I don't think it's good. I'm tired of zombies. I've been tired of zombies since before The Last of Us, which was 2013.
Yeah.
I was tired of zombies before this show came out. I'm like, this sucks. And now it's been 6 years, and they're still talking about zombies.
Yeah.
I was like, be done with it. You had your run.
You're done.
Maybe you can be resurrected later. Doubt it. Because now they have spin-offs, and they have video games.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm done with this. Also, I'm very behind.
You're very behind, yeah.
Which might be a reason why I dislike it.
Maybe. I mean, the show's about zombies, but it's not really about zombies anymore. It hasn't been about zombies since, like, the first season.
I know! Doesn't make any sense. They're just there. They're just there to add, like, tension. It's like...
They're just a device that's used in the storytelling. That's it.
Anyway, let's talk about your experiences with The Walking Dead. You've been watching it. You're up to date?
Yeah,
You're up to date.
I've been watching it every Sunday.
People said that they didn't like it after this season opener because it was too violent. I still haven't watched it.
The season opener was pretty brutal. But besides that, it's really been kind of bland. And my thought is that this season, since the very first episode, with that being the exception, has been a season of spinning the wheels. Like,
isn't Norman Reedus like in prison or something?
Who? Norman?
Daryl?
Yeah.
Isn't he like captured or something?
Yeah. He's a capture this whole time.
That's like everybody's favorite character, and he's just not doing anything except sitting there.
Yep, he's just sitting there,
not being a BA at all.
They're like trying to break him, and he almost escapes, but then gets caught and all this stuff.
Wah.
So and it was a test the whole time.
This is reminiscent of I think season 2 when they're all stuck at the farm.
Yeah,
and it's like this sucks.
I completely agree because I stopped watching after season 2 because I was like, this is so boring. I love first season 1. I love that.
Also, I saw someone posted an article on Twitter, and they ranked The Walking Dead's villains from like best to worst, and they put Shane on the list of villains. Like, Shane's not a villain.
He's kind of just like a complicated character.
Yeah. He was. I wouldn't call him a villain. He was just there, and then was not there.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Like, when I think of a villain, I think of someone that's kind of like pulling the strings behind them.
Like the governor.
So the governor is a good villain.
Yeah.
Although I don't think he started as a villain. I guess Negan. He's a villain, they say.
Yeah, he's
but I don't get
terrible.
That. The first season didn't have a villain other than the zombies.
Yeah, the zombies. I mean, maybe Daryl's brother.
Oh, yeah. They put him on the list too, but I think that's for like season 3.
Yeah, he could.
I don't know. Well, Walking Dead is dumb. I hate the obsession with The Walking Dead. People should be obsessed with good shows like Westworld.
Like Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones is better than Walking Dead.
Game of Thrones
and I'm caught
is
up
the
with
best show on TV.
Disagree wholeheartedly.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I think my opinion is correct. What do you think is best? You think Westworld's better than Game of Thrones?
At this point?
Yeah. Dude, what?
Tell me, why do you like Game of Thrones so much?
Why do you like Westworld so much?
I can tell you, but I asked you the question first. You can't just be like, blow off my question because you're insulted.
I'm insulted. I didn't come prepared to defend my love of Game of Thrones.
I'm not trying to.
But let's say
it's better than The Walking Dead.
It's better than
Caillou.
Well, how do you know today?
The child cancer kid that everybody hates.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so good because the story of a few characters that I love. Mostly Tyrion, also Jon Snow.
See, I really like Tyrion, and then before I started watching Game of Thrones, I'm like, isn't this guy the villain? And I started watching it, and I'm like, isn't this guy the villain? And I'm like, he's not.
He's not. He's
awesome.
in the wrong family, but he's
legit.
He's awesome. Yeah, I love Tyrion. I fell in love with a lot of the characters, and it's been one of those things where, like, secretly since the very beginning, I've been rooting for the Starks.
What do you mean secretly? Everybody roots for the Starks.
Well, I don't know.
That's the whole point.
That's not
is that the Starks can get revenge.
I've met so many people who hate the Starks.
Why? Because they're too righteous.
Because they don't
honorable?
adapt. Yeah, exactly. They're too rigid to adapt, and that's their weakness.
What are they adapting to? What weakness do they have? They had a huge army that got stabbed in the back.
Yeah,
that's not a weakness.
Yeah, well, they have plenty of weaknesses. Robb Stark has a weakness of love. He freaking picked this girl that he loved instead of the right thing to do, which would have been to honor his agreement with the house that killed him, because we see how that ended.
Because he was...
so he was blinded by his own love and put his own love in front of his countrymen in the North. So there's that weakness. Then, beyond that, Ned Stark was not able to navigate the...
Dude, Ned Stark is legit.
I know, I love Ned. I love them for all their faults, but their faults nonetheless. Like, they're too honorable and too rigid to adapt to the situation.
Wait, tell me the problem you have with Ned Stark, or the general consensus that Ned Stark has an issue.
Oh, what was the thing? I
think you see the show mainly from, like, the Snake's perspective. You see it from the Lannisters, which are definitely...
Me?
I mean, no, just people in general. Mm. The way you view the show, I feel like, has more to do with the Lannisters than anybody else. I think the Starks are there. If anything, it's equal between Starks and Lannisters. I know there's other houses, but I don't really pay attention to those other houses.
If you throw Targaryen in there, I agree.
Okay. But even that, it's not so much a family affair of that. It's just literally one person. And she's just trying to get all this stuff back. And she's so far away, it doesn't really matter. I mean, she's...
Her story's been... She's been dragging along in the other side for a while.
What has she been doing?
Dragging along. Stop it! She's a queen.
She's the mother of dragons.
Yeah. So, I'm excited to see her come across the sea. I don't know.
But from the story perspective, if the main story is the Lannisters versus Starks, which I think it is... Mm-hmm. She's a subplot until she comes over in the next couple seasons, where she becomes more of the main story. But right now, she's a side character. Whereas the Lannisters and the Starks are the main characters. I mean, who has the most on-screen time? Lannisters and Starks, because there's like 6 different Lannisters and there's like 6 different Starks.
I feel like Daenerys has she has whole episodes devoted just to her. I would say that it's equally shared between the 3 of them. Maybe Lannisters are a little bit heavier than the others because they're in more... I just feel like they have so many subplots going on.
But I feel like they're snaky.
They are very snaky.
They're very snake-like. And I feel like if you're comparing, I don't know if there's a lot of people that want the Lannisters to prevail.
I don't know anybody who does.
If people are saying, the Starks are too honorable and too noble...
Right, that's
because they don't fight dirty like the Lannisters.
Exactly. I've met people who've literally said that before.
Did you punch him right in the face?
No.
I'll show you, noble.
I was like, I can't believe you'd say that.
That's ridiculous.
Look at Ned. I love Ned. I love them for all those reasons, but I know other people hate them for the same reasons because they think that they're weak. They see that as weakness.
Why?
And now look at their house. I mean, look, the result of not being willing to play super dirty is that everyone's
dead. Die with honor. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. But
I don't know. I think Game of Thrones is getting starting to be a little bit predictable.
Well, I mean, at this point, there are only so many things that can happen because the story's been fleshed out so much.
Yeah.
There's going to be a showdown with the White Walkers, and that's going to be probably the finale, I would guess.
Do you think that's... See, I forgot about the White Walkers 100%.
I mean, that's what's been teased for the entire show. And same thing with Daenerys'
the whole
overtaking of the thing. Those 2 stories have just been building up for so long with nothing really happening. I think what's interesting to me is I think what's going to happen is Daenerys, we were not planning on talking about this, but Daenerys is going to come across the sea. She's going to... Well, have you seen the most recent season?
Yes.
Okay. She's going to come across the sea. Spoiler alert. Then the queen lady... Why can't I remember? Cersei is on the throne. She and Daenerys are going to be fighting like crazy. And Jon's gonna be up in the north, and he's like, guys, the White Walkers.
I don't know how Cersei still has an army after she blew up the city.
Dude, the Lannisters still have so much money.
Yeah, but where are all these people? She had to kill some of them in the city.
Probably. I mean,
or she was like, I don't care.
Not that many though. I mean, she only blew up the Septum.
She blew up like the whole city. I thought.
She just blew up the Septum.
Oh. There is a girl I knew that went as Cersei for Halloween. I'm like, how could you?
That's so evil. I hate Cersei more than any other character. Well, Negan's pretty bad. Probably Cersei. I still hate Cersei more.
She's the worst.
But I understand Cersei better than I don't understand Negan's motivations, but Cersei, at least you can maybe respect her a little bit as a mother, empathize with her a little bit. Maybe not respect her as a mother, but empathize with her. She's lost her kids. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, but it's because she's a bad person.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna watch Jon Snow and Daenerys get together. That's gonna be the song of this whole story is called the Song of Ice and Fire. So it's gonna have to do with the Starks, which are ice, and then fire being the Targaryens. At least that's my interpretation of what that means.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be Jon and Daenerys teaming up. They'll take out Cersei.
But Jon's already been in love with somebody.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if it necessarily has to be love.
I don't know.
That's just a big old tangent.
Anyway, The Walking Dead sucks.
Yeah, so Walking Dead this season has just been real bad. Real disappointed.
Do you want it to be over? They're already signed on for the 8th season.
I just want to know what's going to happen. All the questions that were burning in my mind after the first episode, none of them have been answered or even hinted at being answered. So I'd like them to be dealing with the whole Negan thing, but they keep instead doing reactions to Negan and random other stuff that doesn't push the story along at all. Maybe it'll come together in the second half of the season, but we're only 2 episodes away from the mid-season finale, which they how they split it up. They split up.
Also, why does The Walking Dead need to have 20 episodes in a season?
I don't know.
HBO shows
have 10,
i.e. Westworld and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, both
10, and they're all fantastic.
Yeah.
Marvel shows are 13 episodes, which might be a little too long. But The Walking Dead is a product of the fact that it just needs to keep going for 20 episodes, 24 episodes.
At the end of the day, it's a cash cow, and it's AMC's biggest, most successful show. They're going to keep pumping it out.
Blah.
All right.
On to the next. DreamHack winner happened, 2016. Armada took home first place. Mm-hmm. Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
This is Smash news. Smash Melee news.
Yep.
Hungrybox got second, and then Leffen got third, and then Mango got fourth. Mango traveled all the way over to Europe to get fourth. I mean, Hungrybox went to get second, but
yeah,
Hungrybox goes more often than Mango.
Yeah, and Mango didn't go 3 and out against Leffen. Is that what it was?
Leffen 3-0'd him.
That's sad.
I would not respect myself if I didn't mention DreamHack news in this podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
I love Smash.
I know you do.
No Man's Sky.
Oh my gosh, No Man's Sky.
Hello Games.
They said something.
Came out on August. They tweeted something.
For the first time.
For the first time in 3 months.
Yeah.
And they tweeted that it's an update coming. A free update. And update 1.1.
They had a name for it. Foundation, I think.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Which is essentially...
make your own base.
You can make your own base, and there's 3 different modes now. So there's the standard mode, which is what everyone's been playing in. Mm-hmm. There's now a creative mode, which you can build bases. I think it's the standard mode, but now you can also build bases. Mm-hmm. There's a survival mode, which makes the game more difficult, they said.
Okay. All features that should have been released.
Everything that should have been there at launch.
Yeah.
But that...
And still not enough.
Doesn't matter to me as much. That happens a lot. What matters to me is that they haven't said anything for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then when they announced this, they're like, if you would have lived in our shoes, you would have known how important this update was to us. Like, no, how would I know that? You didn't tell us. You didn't say that you were working on an update.
You've literally said nothing to us.
Yeah. Us, and by us, I mean you.
Yeah.
Because you own it.
Well,
or do you still own it?
I still do own it. I do. I haven't sold it yet.
Well, you should trade it in when you get your Final Fantasy.
Though I did delete the data.
But now you got the No Man's Sky trophy list on your trophies.
And it will forever be there.
Ha!
That's why Cow gets hacks.
Ooh.
Get hacked.
One can only hope.
No. Don't put that on me. Yeah, so No Man's Sky, man, disappointed.
This update comes out way too late, 3 months later. It's standard DLC, I think. Mm-hmm. Call of Duty always says, I think Call of Duty is the the level that game companies are looking for.
Like the standard bearer for
like
DLC.
The standard for DLC is once every 3 months, so that way your game lasts throughout the whole year, right. Whereas like... So this comes out, so this is online with that, but they haven't talked about it, they haven't shown anything, and they just kind of announced it, and now it's out. And there's some credit to announcing something and putting it out immediately, like Fallout 4 did.
Yeah. But
Bethesda is very different from
Hello Games. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to our Underpaid Gamer Awards, because we're gonna come up with a real unique one for No Man's Sky. I think it's gonna get its own category.
Do you have something in mind already?
I already have plenty of things, but they're not funny enough. It needs to be more snarky.
I'm putting it right here.
Yeah, I saw that's what made me think about it.
You gotta add some stuff. Anyways, our Underpaid Gamer Awards comes out
at the end of the year.
At the end of the year, it's like the last episode of
2016.
We already have one, 2015.
Yeah, go listen to those.
You can listen to that one. That was a fun episode.
It'll be a nice precursor to our 2016 awards, I think.
So,
yeah,
we need to talk about that. Hello Games has not done anything to impress me.
They've only done things to disappoint me.
The beginning.
From the highest expectations that they could possibly muster within me, to the terrible fall, the Icarus falling too close to the sun, get expectations too high, the crashing, and the bones breaking.
I didn't write this down, but there's a developer from Hello Games that's now working on a different game, a much bigger game. I can't remember. I should have wrote it down.
Like a AAA game?
Yeah. Not a big deal. Not Sean Murray, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who likes that guy?
I think, at what point...
call it a failure and just move on?
Yeah, or at what time period are you just like, we haven't tweeted, we haven't said anything in a month and a half, and we have this coming out in a month and a half. Do we start tweeting now, or do we just wait and announce it the day before it comes out, and then we start tweeting again, or do we just go radio silent until the next update?
Probably
that's the worst option, radio silent, only for updates.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
But also, if they never had another update, like, the 8 people that still play it might be upset.
Yeah.
But the rest of the world...
It's like, we have moved on, so...
Yeah.
We've moved on from the sad loss of the hype.
Pokemon Sun and Moon has been released. The latest installment of Pokemon has dethroned, in the UK sales charts, has dethroned Call of Duty Infinite Warfare from the #1 spot.
There you go.
Infinite Warfare, by the way, is still doing very well, despite mixed reviews.
Yeah.
So Pokemon Sun and Moon has also gotten mixed reviews, I think. For the majority, it's been very positive. I looked at Metacritic, it's like an 88, 89.
Yeah.
Which is, if a 90 is a great game, that's a great game.
Yeah. It's
no
T.
T.
It's close.
There's no T to it. Grah! But I have been on the fence about buying it or not buying it. There's a demo for this one. I just downloaded the demo before we got here. So next week I'll have more information on that, I think. It'll probably be too late. I have decided that if I can find the Underpaid Gamers rating, as we always do.
Yes.
If I can find Pokemon Sun, I specifically want Moon because it has a big old lion on it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get Sun? Sun has a lion. What did I say?
You said Moon had a lion.
Sun has a lion, Moon has a weird bat thing.
Yeah, we don't care about
If I can get Sun for like $30, I'll buy that with the expectations that I'll be a little disappointed.
Okay.
So the perfect money amount for this game, I think, would be somewhere between $20 and $25.
Okay.
To where that would meet my expectations.
Okay.
But if I bought it for $30, I would, because it retails at $40.
Yeah.
So I can't buy it now. It's too expensive for my expectations. If I bought it for $30, I would go in with tempered expectations. I would not be excited, and if it wouldn't have to try so hard to reach those expectations.
Yeah.
Whereas $25, I go in and it could suck, and I'm like, all right, that's good.
Well, $25.
Yeah, $25.
Yeah.
So $30, I'm looking for it for $30.
There you go.
You think maybe Black Friday there'd be something, but nah.
Yeah, you know.
But there's some things. I guess I'll talk about some of the problems and maybe some of the things that people enjoy.
Yeah.
I think hands down the best Pokemon game they've ever created is Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold.
Okay, why those two?
Which is the remake of Silver and Gold. It was a flawless remake. They added things that I think they needed to add. It's the only Pokemon game where they have the Pokemon follow you no matter which Pokemon it is.
Okay.
It's whatever Pokemon's in your first slot that follows you around.
That's cool.
Silver and Gold might just be... They're not my favorite, but they might be the hands-down best generations they've ever had. Because it evolves from the first one. It's an actual sequel.
Yeah.
It takes place 3 years later. But you have the Johto region and the Kanto region. You can go and do both.
Okay.
They also added some necessary features. I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver were the last ones on the DS before they moved to the 3DS. No, Diamond and Pearl came out. Maybe those are at the same time. But the legendary Pokemon are fantastic in that one. The starter Pokemon are fantastic in that one. There was also the last Pokemon game where the legendary Pokemon wasn't like hand-fed to you, where you had to go out and find them. Mm-hmm. So Ho-Oh and Lugia. Lugia, you had to go down to the Seafoam Islands. No, not Seafoam. The Whirlpool Isles. And you had to go through that cave system and then find it. Mm-hmm. Very similar to Mewtwo.
Yep. And
all the 3 bird Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Whereas Ruby and everything since then, the legendary Pokemon has been on the quest.
Right. It's like main, you can't miss it.
You can't miss it. You have to go to it. It's been part of the main storyline. Like, oh, the Pokemon in Ruby and Sapphire. Oh, we need to get this Pokemon to make the world all water or make the world all earth, and this thing is all powerful. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Things like that. And that holds true, again, for Sun and Moon, where the Pokemon is part of the storyline. You have to go find it. From a video review I saw, they kind of took out some of the more difficult aspects of this game to where instead of, like, trying to navigate through caves, so think from first generation, the Kanto generation, Rock Tunnel, was if you didn't have Flash.
It was so annoying.
It was all dark.
Yeah, I can't do it.
So you can... Maybe you can't do it, but some people can because it's still a little light. But this one, it's just like automatically everything's lit up. They don't have HM slaves anymore, so you don't have to teach these Pokemon all HMs.
Okay.
Like there's
like cut and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's standard Pokemon that aren't in your party that come with you that know the HMs.
What?
Yeah. So
that's kind of weird.
So they were telling me there's a Tauros that knows Rock Smash, which is the first one you get. But that doesn't take up a slot in your party. So you can still have 6 Pokemon, but also when you need Rock Smash, Tauros comes out of nowhere. You can also ride him.
Interesting.
You can ride him around.
I like riding.
There's a Sharpedo that knows Surf, which is kind of cool. The starter Pokemon are kind of lame. There's the starter water Pokemon. It's called Poplio. It evolves into something.
Yeah.
It looks very feminine, but the catch rate for a feminine Poplio is like 25%. So you have to start the game over and over and over again until you get a female one if you don't want to like be a gender bender, which I mean you can.
Yeah, interesting.
The 5th type in Avatar, gender bender.
Nice.
They took.
I just got it. It took me a second. I was like, what?
They took out. So now when you're fighting a Pokemon, it will say on your move type if it's super effective against that Pokemon, which has both positives and negatives. It's not really something I care about. They added a feature where wild Pokemon can call for help. I just read about today. So if you're fighting like a Pikachu, the Pikachu at any time can call for help, and another Pikachu will show up. Oh, that's rough. The issue with this is you can't catch a Pokemon if there's 2 Pokemon. So you have to take out one to catch one.
Dang.
Which can be difficult. Again, and these Pokemon can like call whenever they want, and not as many times as they want. There might be like a 50% success rate or whatever. Yeah. But it can keep going. And what I don't know is, do you get experience for all the Pokemon you defeat,
or just that first one?
Where's the first one? So in Dragon Quest, another RPG, JRPG, some monsters can call for help, and if you get them into a call for help cycle, you can like one-shot the monster they call for help. And then at the end of all that, so sometimes the battles take like half an hour if you play it right, you get all the experience from everything that you killed.
Right, so it's like a quicker way to train.
Yeah, so it's a quicker way to train, so you don't have to run around and find all these things. I don't know if that's standard, if that holds over for Pokemon or not. That would be a selling point for me, is to know that. Some people say that this is just as good, and they've had just as much fun with this as they had with Soul Silver and Heart Gold. It's a new... like a 3-dimensional type thing, so you're not so much looking at it from above. You're kind of looking at it from a second perspective instead of a third perspective. The rival, ever since Generation 3, the rival has not been a rival. It's been more of a friend.
Right.
Which takes some of it out, I think. Like,
is this a friend again?
Yeah, this is a friend again. And not only that, but you know how in the beginning of the games, if you choose a Charmander, your rival chooses a Squirtle?
Right.
This one chooses the opposite. If you chose a Charmander, it would choose a Bulbasaur.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
That makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that easy.
Yeah. Also, the games have been getting progressively easier. I think They should go the Hello Games route and add a survival mode. Makes it a little bit more difficult. But there's been a lot of people that have been asking for a hard mode in Pokemon, and I would attest to that. I would like that as well. Mm-hmm. If there's a normal mode and a hard mode, just kick up the levels of
like wild Pokemon compared to you? Or
I don't even know how. I would say keep the levels the same. In retrospect, I guess you might be able to do some scaling, but with that, it would make training Pokemon easier. I think what has to happen is you have to give the trainers in the game stronger Pokemon, so it gives you a reason to level up.
Yeah.
I'll also maybe give them more Pokemon, but there needs to be a reason to have normal mode and hard mode the same. Not the same, but you need to be equivalent. Because if you kick up the levels of the Pokemon in the area, the wild Pokemon, you then get more experience from those Pokemon.
Right.
Instead, I think they're talking about something. I think experience scales, actually. I think they've been doing that for a while now. To where, so in the old games, if you killed like a Rattata, you get like 12 experience points. If you kill a level 3 Rattata, you get 12 experience points. If you kill a level 4 Rattata, you get 15 experience points. You can know that specifically. I know that if I get in a battle with this Rattata, I'm going to get this much experience points.
Right.
No matter what level I am. Now, I believe the experience is scaling.
Yeah.
So it depends on the difference between you. So if you're fighting a Pokemon that's below you, you get much less experience than if you fight someone above you.
Right.
Which again makes it very difficult to train in the wild, because standard you're going to be higher than the wild Pokemon.
Exactly. And there's only a limited amount of trainers.
Yes.
And you can't like redo the trainers.
Yes, you can.
Really?
They've been doing that since Generation 3. Sometimes you have an item. And in Generation 3, it's called Versus Seeker. It's like a telephone you get on, and it will tell you like it's not every trainer.
Okay.
But it'll give you a blip to where some trainers can and want to battle again, some don't. So that way you get experience from them, but also you get the money from them.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what I found the last time I played. Maybe I just never used that item or found that item or something. Because I mean, I played on the 3DS and I could not.
Which one? Ruby and Sapphire?
Nope.
Omega Ruby and Sapphire? X and Y?
I have
Black, White?
Black and White.
I think they have it there. I've been playing. So because there's been so much hype around this, I've been playing some Pokemon games. I have Omega Ruby, and I never beat it.
Sapphire, the fancy Sapphire. Played it for 5 minutes. I bought the game and I haven't played it at all, and that's why I'm not excited about this one, because I can't even get myself to play the last one.
But there's been so much hype. I'm like, well, I could buy this, or I could kind of try to scratch that itch by playing a game. Again, I haven't beaten Ruby.
Yeah.
And I just got to the point in Ruby, I guess right before I quit, I got to a point and then I started up again, and like 5 minutes into the game, I just got my 5th badge. It just takes you to an island off the coast, and it's like, here's this legendary Pokemon. Oh, this legendary Pokemon sees that you're friendly, it's going to come with you no matter what. Like, I didn't have to fight it.
Yeah.
I didn't have to catch it. It's just like, hey, I kind of like you. I'm coming with you now. I'm like, where's the challenge?
You give me handouts now.
Where's the Zapdos where you have to go through the whole power plant, and then if you kill it, it's gone forever.
Ugh.
That's what I want. Lose the Mewtwo. If you kill it, it's gone forever.
With a little bit of risk, you know?
Yeah. It made it challenging. This is just like, in Pokemon Black, or Pokemon White 1 or 2, I don't know which one, I caught the legendary Pokemon with a Pokeball. Not a Great Ball, not an Ultra Ball, not a Master Ball, a standard Pokeball.
Did you just use like 500?
I used like 3.
What? No.
Yeah. Because they've lowered, or they raised the catch rates, so it's easier now. That's BS.
That shouldn't happen.
Pokemon's going down the pooper.
But, it's just getting easier.
But that's my perspective. People are saying that it's a very good game.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I've only heard good things.
Also, they have experience share now, standard. So if you have one Pokemon out and it kills somebody, everyone in your party gets experience, no matter if they.
So you don't have to rotate it anymore.
And that's like one of the items they give you at the beginning. It's like running shoes, experience share.
Yeah.
Like, then what's the point of having specific Pokemon? I don't know. Talking about it makes me not want to play it, but thinking about it makes me want to play it. I can't decide. So that's why I said
it's kind of like a weird position to be in.
If I get like the $25 deal, would be perfect. $30, I'd go in expecting it to suck.
Yeah,
and it might impress me.
So I got a little bit of Star Wars news.
Yeah.
I've been reading the Star Wars precursor novel to Rogue One, which is coming
Catalyst.
out. Yep.
Got it.
Proud of you. It's coming out in a couple weeks here.
Squeak.
December 16th. And,
Not the book, the movie.
The movie's coming out. The book came out last week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Downloaded it, started about a quarter of the way through it. Some interesting little reveals here. And they're not really spoilers for the movie because it happened before the movie, So, semi-spoiler? Is that a semi-spoiler? I'm not sure.
I think that's a spoiler. That's a standard spoiler.
What? Like information that's not in the movie?
Yeah. Because it happened before?
Yeah.
So what if you watch Star Wars Episode 1 through 6 in that order? The reveal of Luke being Vader's son you would know because Episode 3.
True.
Episode 1, 2, and 3. But it was a reveal because it... Anyway, if you want to... You can tell us. Like I told you before, this podcast, I said, I don't care about this movie at all.
Yeah.
You tried to walk out.
I did. I almost shut my laptop and just left. I thought about it. But then I was like, no.
No, I want to talk about
Tony's my friend. And I also want to talk about Star Wars. So, Catalyst, a couple small little spoilers. So, if you know the character names already, it would help. Galen is the scientist who is Jin's father. Oh. Jin is the main girl in the trailer.
I thought that was Rey.
No.
Jin and Rey are different people?
Jin and Rey are different people. That's why they have different names. Because they're different people. Also different times.
Yeah, but they look a lot alike.
Yeah. Yeah. White female lead.
Brunette, English.
Yeah.
They could have done better.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about this earlier, a long time ago when we first learned about the casting of Rogue One. But, I think so too.
Anyway, her father made the plans for the Death Star.
Well, not exactly. So really what this book has done so far is really given me...
He made the plans for the exhaust port.
He made the plans for the...
Double agent?
The power grid, power supply for the super weapon.
So you'd think...
And
also the exhaust port.
I also think he did the exhaust port. I think he did on purpose, and he made a weakness on purpose.
I don't think that's a weakness.
An exhaust port?
Yes. That's literally what exhaust ports do.
Is exhaust?
Yes.
Right.
It goes directly to the engine.
But you'd think you could put a failsafe in there that would keep, let's say, a small explosive from destroying the entire thing.
You put a vent on the end.
Right.
Someone didn't put a vent on the Death Star. I don't think it's his fault.
The question is, do you design it that way?
To have no vent?
Yeah.
Maybe. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But everyone keeps talking... Maybe I've talked about this before.
Mm.
But people are like, the exhaust port's so stupid. Like, no, that's literally what it does. Also, it's not big at all. It's not any bigger than any one of these monitors. And there has to be... You would think there'd be thousands of these exhaust ports on a moon-sized space station.
Right.
Not to mention, it was defended by the trench. The whole trench run, people seem to forget.
Yeah.
Like, that's not an easy thing.
Easy enough.
Honestly, Luke shouldn't have made it through at all. They had laser turrets and Darth Vader was on it and all this other stuff.
It's because of the Force. As you can tell by every other pilot getting blown up. Except for Wedge.
Anyway. Well, he has to go on.
He's like, you can't do any more good back there. Get out of here. And he's like, I'm sorry, Luke. And he pulls away and then he's done.
Anyway, exhaust port, I think, is flawless in design. Literally all it needed was a vent and it would be over.
Yeah, and they didn't put a vent on it.
But that doesn't mean that's his design, that's the manufacturer's job.
Doesn't the designer tell the manufacturer what to produce? Like the architect tells the builder what to build.
Yeah. But the architect doesn't build it himself. So if the builder doesn't do it correctly,
the question,
whose fault is it?
Right.
The designer's fault?
Well, it depends. Did the designer tell them to make an exhaust port cover, lid, vent thing?
Does he seem competent in the comic book?
In the book, yes.
Then I would say yes.
He's very competent.
There.
So he probably put in there on purpose.
Asterisk, no vent on this one specifically.
I still think he did it on purpose. I don't know.
But
because he's a rebel sympathizer, that's why.
He hates a vent might not be necessary because of the trench. The only way he can get... It's not like Luke can come at an angle and shoot. He has to go through the whole trench. So maybe instead of the trench, he's like...
that could just... not necessarily. He could have, gone in a mile closer than he did, and he would have been able to get
maybe.
You don't have to go with the entire trench. Either way,
maybe the trench was the easiest way. Maybe there's more turrets on the face of the...
I mean, there are turrets on the face of it, too.
So maybe the trench was the easiest, not saying it was easy.
True. I don't know. Either way, Galen is a scientist who is expertised in...
Vent producing?
No. It's kind of like a really nerdy Star Wars thing, but kyber crystals are the things that...
let me tell you about kyber crystals. They're the things that make lightsabers.
Go. Yeah.
And then it's also in the Death Star.
Yeah.
Because the Death Star is really a big lightsaber.
Well, you're not totally wrong.
I'll take it.
Not exactly the same. So, kyber crystals don't come in that big of variety, and so the thing that...
Seto Kaiba. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, I'm so confused at what you're referencing. I've never seen
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I've never watched Yu-Gi-Oh! You know that.
I didn't know that. I know you can't watch Pokemon.
Yeah, I couldn't. No, I could sneak watch it.
I sneak watch Power Rangers.
Oh, dude, my mom did hate Power Rangers when I was like 5. They're like, don't watch that, it's violent.
Yeah.
Exactly why I wanted to watch it.
Now look at you, watching Walking Dead Season 6 premiere.
Mistakes were made. Either way, kyber crystals, he grows synthetic ones, and he's like working on that. So there, you kind of get from there like
medical kyber crystals.
They're medical. Yeah, they're for medical reasons.
They're not.
And actually, on the planet he was on, it was legalized, so it's fine.
Hey, what up, California?
Hey, so yeah, so that's kind of like the reason why he's being recruited. So you kind of get the picture that he's like a scientist and he's important from the trailers, but specifically he is in power, like growing. Growing is the right word. He takes power and he like multiplies it. He's able to like multiply like a power source through these like kyber crystal things that he grows because big ones don't exist and he has to like make fake ones. So that's kind of the basis of it, but he also knows Commander Krennic. So like Krennic is the bad guy. He's the guy who in the trailer, who like walks up and like takes him.
Okay.
He's tasked. He's a builder. He's like a part of the engineering corps. He's like, and also in this other stuff that you learn in the book. But he apparently, this isn't in the book, but I'm drawing some conclusions. He is obviously put in charge of the construction of the Death Star. He goes to Galen because he knows Galen from his past. They went to school together.
High school.
In like a specials program. And
they sat together on the short bus.
They did. It was a very long bus, actually. It describes it in much detail. Just kidding, it doesn't.
And the bus was 24 rows long.
And the bus was at least 25 rows. So they know each other, and they're actually like friends.
What?
In this book. So I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of betrayal by the end of this book, but I'm not sure or not, because Commander Krennic literally just rescued Galen, so from like being stuck in a prison for the rest of his life. So that happened. So it's kind of like they have a more complex relationship than I originally assumed, just based on the trailer, which was nothing. I didn't know anything. Also, Jen just was born, and her mother's name is Lysa. Lysa. Lysa.
Lysa.
Probably. So that's the new info on Rogue One so far. I mean, just like some minor details that give you a little bit more understanding of what's happening. So yeah, and it's interesting too because it's like book's taking place during the Clone Wars, and it's like there's the whole like separatist versus Republic. Yeah, and I find that time period really interesting. Like after Episode 3 to Episode 4, like what happened in that span. Like it went from Republic to Empire. What that all looked like. What it'll actually look like in transition and all that stuff, and what happened to all the robots and stuff that you don't see any of. It kind of explains it all. So.
I have no idea.
That's the Star Wars news.
Yeah, I got some Watch Dogs 2 news.
Talk to me.
I've been playing Watch Dogs 2. That's the thing I mentioned in the intro.
Yep.
Still having a lot of fun. Still not upset I paid $60 for it. It gets a good score. They finally relaunched the server, so now there's online connectivity.
There you go.
It's very seamless. So sometimes I'll be in somebody's game, sometimes they'll be in my game.
Yeah.
When I'm just doing random stuff. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm doing story quests. There's also... so there's missions. There's main missions. There's side missions that go along with that main mission. And then there's like people you can walk up to on the street. And they'll also give you like a side quest.
Yeah.
So there's like 3 different tiers. Mm-hmm. But with the... my first mission online just kind of happened. I was driving around. I was in a car just driving around, and no, I was on a motorcycle driving around, and I got a guy on my radio, on my little intercom came up. He's like, "Hey, the enemy hacker group is called
Cobra."
No, something 8, Prime 8. It's called Prime 8.
Okay.
And he got on my intercom. He's like, "Hey, look, there's a Prime 8 hacker close by. You want to go take care of him?" And I'm like, I guess. Turns out it was a real player. I guess I should, before I mention that, the online missions have always been available since day one, but instead of having online people, it's been like
NPCs.
NPCs. It's been AI. Okay. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll try this. And then when I got over there, I realized it was an actual player. So like, oh, that's cool. I had also learned earlier that day that you can shoot weapons from the car. It's kind of an odd button combination. It's like L1. Normally, you aim with L2 and you fire with R2, and in the car, it makes you like aim and shoot with L1.
Right, because it ends up being like break and go.
I'm like, okay, that's whatever. I didn't realize that. I don't know if everybody knows that because it took me a while. I was just kind of messing around.
Yeah.
And I drove. The guy was running away from the cops because, of course, he is. There was another player also trying. It was like a bounty.
Yeah.
So I was trying to hunt the bounty. Another player was trying to hunt the bounty. I had this single shot pistol that you make it in a 3D printer. You can pick up weapons on the ground or you can make weapons. And I made this 3D printer pistol. I'm like, all right. Drove past him on a motorcycle, slowed down a little bit, lined up the headshot, boom, one shot, dead. And I'm like, what? that was incredible. Like, I did it so easily.
Motorcycle headshot.
And I'm like, oh, that's so sick. And I actually had, I stopped my motorcycle, I just kind of looked around, and like, did I actually get the bounty for that? Because there's no way. Like, I just learned how to shoot from a car and I get a headshot immediately. Like, this is awesome. And another day, I was, obviously with highways, there's, when you get onto a highway, you get off a highway, there's overpasses, underpasses. I was on the very ground level, kind of like where the hobos go to live, in a van by the river, kind of down there doing my own thing. And I got a notification that there's somebody above me coming on the overpass, maybe a mile down, that is another player. So I take out my little drone. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get up there and get this bounty. Take out my drone, fly above the overpass so I can see him coming. As soon as he gets around where I am, I take control of his car and make him run off the side of the overpass, and then his car blows up and I get the bounty.
No way!
Oh, that was so sick.
Hacked a player's car.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was so awesome.
That's so cool.
So that's fun. Having a lot of fun with Watch Dogs 2. I recommend it.
There you go. Very cool.
You saw this movie.
I did.
Arrival.
I did.
A week ago.
Yeah.
I saw it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
We want to talk about it.